Tymal Mills, many thanks for joining us. Looking back on the 2020 Blast season, frustrating end for Sussex, being edged out right at the end. What was the mood like in the camp after that final game against Essex?
Yeah, the boys were gutted. I was sat up watching with the coaches. Obviously, I was gutted myself not to be playing, and it looked like I was probably going to be fit should we have got through to the quarter-final. So obviously I was egging the boys on, and the boys did brilliantly in the game. And then as soon as obviously we knew sat on the sidelines that Hampshire had lost badly to Somerset and had knocked us out. So that was pretty gutting. So the boys were a bit flat. But Ben Brown spoke some good words afterwards and said, we couldn't feel sorry for ourselves because it was our own fault really. There was games, we started slowly and there were kind of key moments during the tournament where we shouldn't have had to rely on other results. But unfortunately, obviously, it didn't work out that way on the night, and obviously it was a shame not to get through.
Also, you mentioned there were games like the tie against Kent and the run chase against Middlesex, where if those games had been won, we'd have got through. But even with that, after doing everything the side needed to do against Essex, was there a bit of a sense of frustration, a bit of sense of anger at Hampshire for capitulating so spectacularly?
Yeah, and we didn't really have it on our radar really. We kind of had eyes on the game at Glamorgan, I think it was. They were playing Middlesex, so that was kind of the game where we thought was going to directly affect us, where if it was just Glamorgan beat Middlesex, we beat Essex and we'd be through happy days, and kind of we did that, and Glamorgan beat Middlesex, but then Somerset really beat Hampshire, so the boys weren't too impressed with Hampshire. But as Brownie correctly said, we only had ourselves to blame really. Kind of throughout the tournament, there were some key moments where we should have won games, and that kind of came back to bite us in the end.
And obviously a frustrating campaign for the team in the end, but also for yourself with a bit of a stop-start campaign and a few troubles with injuries. You tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, I was gutted. Obviously, I only played 4 games this summer. Obviously, when I'm only playing T20 cricket, it's obviously this is what I do. This is what I build myself up for. So if I'm only playing 4 games out of 14, that's not good enough really. And I was gutted. I did everything I could to play. My downfall really was, I played in games where I probably shouldn't have. When you tear your hamstring, you're supposed to have, 4 or 5 weeks out. Well, obviously, we didn't have 4 or 5 weeks, so I was having to strap it up really tightly and hope for the best. And I was in the 4 games I played, I was happy with how I did. But kind of played here against Surrey and did well, and then went to Kent the next night and tried to play again, and unfortunately in the 3rd over it went again, and I couldn't quite get back in time. And as I said, if we were to make it through to the quarter final, I was looking like I was going to be able to play, so I was really looking forward to that, but it wasn't meant to be, and I'm gutted, and hopefully I'll make up for it next season.
So you mentioned it was a hamstring tear, nothing to do with the back, a fresh injury.
Yeah, back's been good. Touch wood. Well, I've had hamstring problems, since kind of February really. It kind of first tweaked it in playing in the Pakistan Premier League, and then I missed quite a bit of the IPL with it as well. So it's been a niggling problem, and one that myself and the physios and the England physios are kind of all over now in terms of what my rehab's looking like at the moment. I've been running up and down these stairs quite a lot lately, which is I'm sick of being up here, but I've got to do it now. I've got a decent chunk of time to get it right, and hopefully it won't be a problem in the future.
And it must have been particularly frustrating, given that when you did play, you were bowling really well. You mentioned that fantastic win against Surrey when you took 3 for 20 off your 4 overs. Also, we noticed that as well as being a wicket taker, that's what you've always been. Your economy rate's been good. Is that a sense of your game developing, of your skill levels increasing, so you're becoming able to contain as well as attack?
Yeah, as I said, it was frustrating that when I played this year, I did well. I wasn't able to maintain that. And, but yeah, the winter just gone now. Last winter playing in the different competitions abroad. I think that from a skill level, obviously I've got a bit better just from playing, but I think it was more mentally. I think I've learned more about the game, and I know more about the game and myself and situations and what the batters are trying to do. And yeah, obviously playing, as I said, in these tournaments overseas, and every game you're playing against, the best in the world. The IPL especially, the standard's so high. There's no easy games. There's no easier games. Every team have got world class batters to bowl at. So you have to really be on it mentally as well as physically and technically. So I definitely feel I've improved as a bowler, more so kind of just with my thought processes and tactically, and I think I really transitioned that into every game I played for Sussex this summer. Just as I said, unfortunately I didn't get to play as many as what I wanted to.
And how tricky is it when you are out the side to stay part of the squad setup, to stay part of that unit? Do you come to all the games anyway, and do you travel with the squad at all? How do you stay part of the goings on during a tournament when you're out injured?
Yeah, it's tough, but the club have been really good. I came to quite a few away games. I was here for every home game. I did quite a bit of Sky TV work, so I was often in the pod watching the boys. We had a few games on Sky this year where I was commentating, so stayed involved that way. And I came up to game at Lords. I came up to game at the Oval. I came up to. I try and stay involved as much as possible, because as I said, obviously I'm only playing T20 cricket for Sussex, but I still see myself very much a Sussex player. I'm not I don't just kind of dip in and out. I've just bought a place down here now. This is it's my home, and I want to see the boys do well, and if I can chat to the bowlers or give anything to the bowlers that I can, I try to. Obviously you want to be doing that whilst with the kit on yourself. But the club have been great, and always allowed me to to be in and around any games that I can make.
And obviously, when you're not playing, that gives someone else an opportunity. Have you sort of taken on a bit of a mentorship role with some of the younger bowlers? Obviously, George Garton played quite a bit of 2020 cricket this year. He's another very naturally fast bowler. Are you there with a word of advice and some tips?
I think if you know Garts, I don't think he wouldn't ask anybody to be his mentor. He's very very strong-willed, but Garts, as you said, it gave Garts an opportunity. Jofra obviously played the whole comp, and it was good. Garts' performance has definitely got better as the tournament goes on. As I said about myself, the more you play, the better you're going to get tactically. Because 2020 is such a fast-paced game, and so much happens. You learn from your mistakes, and obviously you're going to make those. But you put in some really good performances. I know you played a lot in the 50-over comp at the start of the year, and you got to come out here and take some key wickets. So it was good from the club's point of view. A young guy got a good group, good bunch of games in, and and he didn't look out of place at all.
And just going back before the start of the English season, obviously you had a very busy winter all around the world, playing in I think Bangladesh, New Zealand, Australia, the UAE for the Pakistan Super League, as well as the IPL. Tell us a bit about that. How was your winter?
Yeah, it was amazing. It was my first. It was my first winter playing kind of on the T20 circuit as such. So I kind of just wanted to get as many gigs as I could and get my face out there a bit, because even though I still see myself as obviously a good bowler, I'm not a big name. I don't think. I've only played, or before the start of the winter, I'd only played one game for England. So obviously a lot of the guys on the T20 circuit have played however many test matches and things for their country. So they've got a reputation and an aura about them. So I went into all the drafts and the competitions at kind of a low base price in terms of money. It wasn't about making money at the start of the winter.
Do you think the standard? It seems to me the standard of the Blast does get better each year, though, with develops. I think as the overall skill levels of players develops. Is that something you've recognised as well?
Yeah, for sure. And I think obviously just as I've mentioned already, the more people play 2020, the better you get, and kind of the cream does rise to the top, and then that drags everybody else up with it, because obviously if you have batters playing inventive shots and things, the bowlers have to come up with a counter to that, otherwise they'll just get dropped. It's pretty cutthroat, T20, especially around the world. I've found that, and you have to keep up. And I think the Blast, it was great this year, and it's probably the most spectacular in terms of some of the performances, the fielding, catching, bowling that we've seen.
And you mentioned you made your debut for England last summer, and then you had a full T20 series out in India with England. What was that like, touring with England in India?
Yeah, it was good. It was so I flew out there from Australia. Me and Chris Jordan were on the same flight, actually, both playing in the Big Bash. So I played a game in Melbourne and then flew via Singapore to Kolkata, and it was fine. It wasn't like a big deal, really. Kind of me and CJ joined the ODI squad for the last ODI, and we kind of just did a training session and did 12th man whilst the boys had the last ODI in Kolkata, and then we kind of just travelled on to the first T20, and I think me and CJ opened the bowling. Kind of Morgs just said, kind of, you're in the squad, like both in the team, just go and do your thing. Me and CJ played every game, and we opened the bowling and bowled at the death, and just did what we've been doing for Sussex and for the various teams that we've been playing for leading up to that. So it was great, but it wasn't. The England environment's very relaxed. You feel like you've been picked because you belong to be there. So it was nice to get picked, arrive out there, get straight into the team, and just open the bowling, bowl it, just do what you've been doing, because that's what I want to be doing, and it's what I'd been doing for the last 3 months, playing for different teams around the world leading up to it. So I just backed myself to go out there and enjoy it and execute like I do normally.
And are you in regular contact with the England setup? Do you speak often about your progress and forthcoming opportunities?
Yeah, unfortunately, obviously it's been mainly about how my hamstring is and how fit I am. So there's obviously an England T20 on the 16th, I think it is, and I wanted to play. I wanted to prove that I was fit to play. I felt I could have been fit to play, but and I understand, Paul, the physio here, along with the England physios and England management, said it's not worth it really for a one-off T20 against the West Indies, for the risk of then getting injured again for a one-off game. It wasn't worth it, so they kind of just told me to kind of be put on ice for a while and get fully fit, ready for the winter. So that's frustrating for me, but communication's been great. Obviously I understand and respect that decision. It's completely fine, but so hopefully in the future my communication will be a bit more positive about playing. So there's an England Tri Series out in Australia and New Zealand in February, so I'll be aiming for that, and hopefully I can be selected.
So looking ahead to that to this forthcoming winter, I know you can't say too much about it at this stage, but plans to play abroad again? Yeah,
definitely. Obviously, just to start September now, I'm just rehabbing at the moment, getting myself fit and sorting my hamstring out, kind of doing the hard, boring kind of day in, just do your exercises. I'm about to go out here and train now and do my stuff with the physio on an empty field. So it'll be a long couple of months, but I've accepted that, so I'm going to crack on with that and get my hammy nice and strong and make sure I'm in good nick for the winter. And then I've got a few competitions lined up for kind of the back end of this year, start of next year, and then as I said, hopefully in the England Tri Series February, and then see how we go from there.
Fantastic. And then finally, obviously, with the injury, you've had a bit of time to work on your media career recently. How's that going? Is it something long term you're very interested in?
Yeah, definitely. I did journalism for a bit at uni, and I got some opportunities last summer, to do some 50 over commentary with Sky, and did quite a bit of T20 stuff with Talk Sport. And obviously, with being injured again this summer, I was quite proactive in seeking out more opportunities. Luckily, I think I got 3 or 4 T20 games with Sky this summer, and did some radio as well. So it was good to keep busy. It's one of the main things, when you're injured and you're away from home, like as I kind of obviously home, not growing up here, you're a bit away from your friends and family. You've got to keep busy and try not to get too caught up in being injured and not playing, because that's obviously where you want to be. But I definitely dip my toe a little bit in, and hopefully I'll get asked to go back in the future. I definitely enjoy it.
Thank you very much for your time. We wish you all the best with the rehab and with the winter, and we look forward hopefully to hearing plenty of your travels in the coming months. Thank you, Tymal.